Welcome everybody to uroc365.com webinar series to grow your business. And tonight we have a very special keynote speaker, Kathleen Black, who is going to be talking to us about how to pivot now as a realtor in this crisis of 2020. And the host of tonight's event is going to be Pat Javdan, broker of record. A little bit of housekeeping. Please, if you have any questions, please go to the uroc365.com website and click on one of those buttons, the black, the red, or the blue button related to real estate in general or pre-construction or just realtors in general if you have questions. Mm-hmm. I'd like to thank Mr. Pat Javdan, broker of record of United Realty of Canada, and Dr. Alex Ahanchin, general manager of United Realty of Canada, for your sponsorship and supporting this channel and to making this webinar a success. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Douglas Gray, author of What the Financial Institutions Are Not Telling You. If you want to get a copy of this book, please register online and we will make sure that you get a copy of this book. I also like to talk a little bit about Kathleen Black. She is the president and founder of Kathleen Black Consulting and Coaching. Kathleen is actually one of Canada's top leading real estate coaches and trainers to brokers and agents all across North America. And Kathleen was the CEO and owner for the success of the Dan Plowman team system. Mm-hmm. So Pat, with further ado, I'd like to give you the control so you can start the interview with Kathleen right now. Go ahead, Pat.
Thank you so much, Jerry. And thank you, Kathleen, that you accepted our invitation and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here with all of you.
Thank you so much. Because we have only 30 minutes, I'm going to get right to it. So a few questions we have for audience, and also we're going to have probably 5-6 minutes at the end. If somebody, realtor or somebody have questions, we're going to hopefully have a time to answer those questions. First question, what is your overall view about the situation we are in right now?
The overall view, well, I mean, I think the overall view of the situation is that the majority of it is overall, big picture, is out of our control. So, I mean, my view of the overall situation is that, people are responding in three ways. Some people are being extremely proactive, they're planning, they're being strategic, and they're essentially doing that because they're focusing on what they can control and what they can do to help and be proactive. And I believe when we take positive action, that it creates confidence to create more positive action, which is extremely important in a time like this. We have people who are essentially waiting and seeing. They're saying, hey, I'm not sure what's going to happen. How could I possibly put a strategy in place? How could I possibly take action when I don't know what the future holds? And I think the people taking action right now are very well aware that their actions are creating their future, whereas the people waiting and seeing are waiting to see what the people already in action are going to create. So, in my opinion, right now, we're seeing people who have a firm sense of understanding of their ability to impact their businesses and their futures and their families and their communities. And we have people who are kind of getting stuck in the middle. Unfortunately, we also have people who are freezing. If we consider it, being out at sea and we're in a storm, if you're freezing and you're not swimming, you're going to go under. You're going to have more of a detrimental impact to your business when this is all done. So to me, I think there's many outside factors that we can't control, but personally, I don't ever choose to focus on things I can't control. I focus on the things that I can do something about, because that's the only way to keep myself integrous and strong and, again, in a confident, proactive position.
I was going to ask you about what is your recommendation for realtors to do right now? But I understand you have a webinar or training program, how to pivot, how to adapt. And also you have a topic about sales approach versus consulting approach. Would you a little bit explain about this concept?
Yes, I think, it's human nature to think that we feel how we feel, but I don't believe that. I think we feel what we choose to feel, and we feel what we're surrounded by. So right away, when all of this started to happen, I mean, our clientele are top 1% earners nationally. They're top teams, they're 200 deal plus, 300 deal plus, 500 deal plus, 1,000 deal plus teams per year. These are heavy hitters in our industry. And to see people in those leadership positions apprehensive or a little bit fearful, the first thing we wanted to do is bring our network together, because perspective creates a belief, right? So what we believe about this situation is going to create our focus. What I believe in is what I'm going to look for. It's what I'm going to create. And what I look for is what I'm going to act on. So we right away brought our network together. We also brought masterminds Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. for the entire industry. They're free, they're open. We have people all across the US joining us and in Canada. And the reason we did that was to create a positive perspective about how this can be a gift. How we can act right now to have not only better businesses, but better lives. And I'm a firm believer in consultants' approach. I'm a firm believer in being an advocate for the people that we work with. We don't make the market now any more than we made the market 6 months ago. There's no difference in that. We are market facilitators. And if we're highly educated professionals, I think we have an ability to adapt remote right now, plant seeds in the dark that it will help us. Essentially, the seeds we're planting today are already creating the momentum for the rebound we're going to experience after. And there are agents who are very productive right now because they never saw their role as selling a product. They always saw their role as a professional providing a service. And I think that is an integral shift for every single top 1% producer I work with, particularly if they're a team. But right now, it's an integral shift for us to be able to be proactive, support the economy, work remote during this time. To say we can't help people in real estate because they're not buying or selling as many houses, to me is a very limited approach. It's a limited perspective. 90 to 95% of what we do in real estate is not just offers. It's not just deals. It's nurturing people to feel confident, both emotionally, psychologically, financially, intellectually. People who are confident make buying decisions. That's what we're looking to do. So if we can nurture confidence now, when the market shifts and confidence comes back in the overall economic market, those people will move forward with us later.
For example, if realtors asking me when they call people, what should tell people? They pick up the phone, right, and said, "Hi, how are you?" What conversation should be about?
I think the most important thing right now is it has not changed. First of all, I'm going to say what I think is the most important thing. And I'm also going to say it was the exact same before this crisis, to listen before we pitch, to listen and serve instead of sell. Those who serve sell more. So I'm not recommending to sell. Those who serve sell more. So the idea that we can be purposeful and offer value actually leads to more of a positive outcome in the end. It's like, can you hear me okay, Pat?
Yeah.
There's some echo, sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, when a team comes to me and says, Kathleen, we want to hit, it doesn't matter, 100 deals a year, 200 deals a year, 500, it doesn't matter, whatever the number is. They think that their goal is to sell 500 homes a year. That's not their goal. Their goal is to have a business that is capable to sell 500 homes a year, and then the 500 homes will come. But really, that's just a byproduct of the goal. So right now, what we want to do is connect. We want to listen. We want to ask strategic questions about what people need, what their timing is, what's going to help them, and never offer anything unless somebody's already told you that the timing and the need exists, that they're going to see value in what they're offering. The most detrimental thing we're doing right now is we're getting in the way. We're either saying, no, I'm not doing any business right now. We're essential service. Why are you even calling me? And we're having this judgment, right? Or we're acting as if nothing has changed. Both are very dangerous right now. Listen, if the person has a need, offer your advice with the need. Once you educate that person, maybe they'll buy and sell right now. Maybe they won't. We don't even know yet. In a good market, you can educate somebody and they change their mind. So why stop them at the beginning before they have enough information to make an educated decision? There's too much, I think, judgment right now. And there's too much judgment about being proactive in our businesses. And our advice and recommendations are needed in the market right now.
Not so many agents, they have a strong database. I know percentage of realtors, they have good database, good network, but not the majority, they don't have it. What's your recommendation for those agents at this difficult time?
I would say brainstorm absolutely everyone you know, because this is goodwill economy, right? So in a goodwill economy, I want to bring out as much goodwill, service, positivity as I possibly can. And not because it's going to come back to me, because it won't necessarily directly come back, but it'll come back in other ways. Like, I'm a person of a big belief in energetics and intentions. And I've seen over all the years with all the agents I support, they can call their entire database. They can grow their database. Their opportunities will come back to them. It's not always from the exact people they're calling, but it's because they're putting goodwill into the market. And people then think of you, right? You have mind share, you're top of mind. They're going to think of you. They're going to refer you. All of a sudden, something's going to come up and you're going to be the person who they reach out to. So I would say right now you have time. So if you don't have a big database, brainstorm absolutely everyone that you are connected with, you know, your doctor, your dentist, like absolutely everyone, your kid's school, like who are you connected with that you could just say, hey, how are you doing right now? Don't ask for anything about real estate for any warm calls right now. If somebody is reaching out for real estate, absolutely, then nothing's changed. But if not, if you're pushing your message into the market, it has to be a goodwill message right now. So I would definitely research absolutely, or brainstorm, sorry, absolutely everybody you're connected with. We have, for example, like a 7-page report, and all that page is questions. So it prompts the agent to think about, wait, I know that person. I know that person. Like, who do I know in all my different spheres that I'm connected to? And how can I reach out to all those people? I've never had an agent go through those 7 questions and not be able to significantly grow their database. And you can look this up. Like right now, there's so many webinars. There's so much on, you just Google it, right? Like, how do I build my sphere of influence? Because that's not unique to real estate. That's any industry that's service-based. And there's so many resources for that. Just take the time to brainstorm absolutely everybody.
How about, you know, digital marketing?
Sure.
Yeah, what message should put on digital, like Facebook, Instagram, or Google? What kind of message they should put in these days?
Well,
I think getting the listing or finding buyers.
I think right now we have to remember that the bullseye has changed. We are in a crisis market. We're not in a buyer's market or a seller's market. We are in a crisis market. And in a crisis market, people want immediate solutions to urgent problems. This is very important. We have to know where we're standing. So the percentage of people who are going to immediately buy and sell right now, yes, are smaller, but the opportunities are bigger than ever. So what does that mean? Our bullseye has changed. The bullseye right now is connecting with people. It's getting follow-ups. It's offering to do consultations on Zooms. Those are wins right now, because if you can plant as many of those seeds right now, again, when confidence and security comes back in the market, people are willing to pay more for confidence and security. We know this. So when it comes back, you're going to have planted those seeds with those people. So right now, digital marketing, for example, on, you know, social media platforms, our volume is way up. Our contact percentage is way up. So more people are picking up the phone, more people are on social media, your cost per lead is down. So if you have savings or reserves, absolutely engage in those markets, but make sure it's unique to your tone. Like if you're a luxury agent, you're going to do things slightly different than somebody who works with investors only or first-time buyers. I would say three areas you want to consider. You want to consider your active buyers and sellers and your promises to them and how you can service them. You want to consider goodwill into the community. What do people need right now? What information is important to them right now? What's going to help them feel better, lighthearted, all of that. Third, what immediate needs are there in the crisis market that you can appeal to? Are there people who have to sell right now and they don't know what to do because they have equity in their house? Are there people wondering, is it a good time to invest? Is it not? You know, as a first-time buyer, should I still buy in the next 6 months? Should I wait? I need to sell quickly. Should I sell to a private investor? Right? Like all of these messages, and you want to test it, because the idea right now that you can go to any coach, me or anybody else, and you can get a set ad that is going to work for you phenomenally is just a little bit silly. You're going to have to test a couple of things and see how your personal market responds to it. But personally, I don't believe in stopping to stop advertising. I believe to advertise in a way that's helpful to the market right now.
Mhm. Okay, for example, for buyers, let's say they pick up their phone and ask the realtors, and should I wait or should I sell? What's your answer to them?
So if somebody is picking up calling me on the phone
Yeah,
and
they
saying,
pick
should I
up the
wait?
realtors
Yeah,
and they say, okay, I don't know
sure.
at this time, what should I do?
Yeah.
Do you have any
Are,
recommendation?
sure. Are they looking to
Yeah.
buy as well? Okay. If they're looking to buy as well, then my
Mhm.
recommendation would be to do a buyer consultation on Zoom with a rough
Mhm.
valuation of their home. Why am I saying this? Because you always want to go the path of least resistance. Right now, if somebody's unsure, I do a listing presentation, your likelihood of converting that to an active
Mhm.
listing is very slim. If you go onto a Zoom platform and you do a buyer consultation and then you do rough comparables afterwards as a secondary offer, your predictable system like we do, so I'm very confident in that, you're likely 5%. It's a buyer
Mhm.
representation contract, but here's the thing. Now I have a platform to create trust, to educate that client and create comfort. Now we can come up with a strategy. Is the strategy to list now? Is a strategy to wait a couple of weeks? Is it to wait until the market shifts? I can give them the pros and cons so they can choose what's best for them. If they
Mhm.
list now or they list 2 months, I have a huge advantage with that client. So you have to decide, it's like the law of averages, right?
Mhm.
Would I rather have a commitment with the client as a buyer now that's going to give me a huge advantage later? Or would I try to push for an immediate result that 95% is going to backfire on me right now? And it's going to
Mhm.
waste that opportunity. You know, we can seem so
Mhm.
obvious, right? They seem
Uh-huh.
so logical, but the minute that you make a first level decision and then you say, okay, I've made that decision, what's the aftermath of that? Right? What's the secondary level decision now that I've made it? What's the repercussions of what I thought was obvious? The secondary and third level decisions are never as obvious. That's where systems live. That's where predictable results live, data driven, like all of that lives in the secondary and third wave decisions. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if I'm in my business right now and I'm feeling any type of fear or I'm feeling uncertainty and I'm just trying to kind of shelter myself, my
Mhm.
first wave decisions might not be good for me in the second, third wave when
Mhm.
things change
Mhm.
later.
Uh, a few minutes ago, I read the news on Twitter, Business Week on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and it says Wuhan's 11 million people are free to dine out, but they are not. So people are afraid. Many people
Sure.
are afraid. Let's say, okay, tomorrow government says, we're open for business, people go out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But people might be afraid, still might be afraid, to do
Absolutely.
normal thing,
Sure.
and might take a while. Maybe we never get back to that normal ever.
Mm-hmm.
What is your view on that?
So if you like, I think we've probably all heard this story, but if we haven't, I think from what you said, it's really applicable. You know, when an elephant is really young, right? We've all
Mhm.
heard the story in the circus, and they train
Mhm.
the elephant. It's very small, and the trainer has the ability, to inflict harm or to make the
Mhm.
elephant feel scared. And as the elephant gets bigger and bigger, it's actually much stronger and much more capable than even the trainer. It actually could pull out, the anchor that's holding in its chains or its rope, but the elephant doesn't, because it perceives that it's still the
Mhm.
same level and the trainer still has the same power over it. And I think it's an important story right now because psychological fear is 10 times stronger for most people than
Mhm.
even a relevant predictable fear in our environment. So I think it's an important question. I think
Mhm.
people are going to be scared, apprehensive, and we need to look then at who are going to be the first wave innovators, who are going to look to take action, walking towards any type of opening in the market. And I think
Mhm.
we know who those people are, right?
Mhm.
They're going to be entrepreneurial mindset. They're going to be people more comfortable with risks. They're going to be investors. Like, this is just very straightforward. So anybody who has a mindset of what does an investor need? How are they going to analyze data? How can I start to connect and build connections even more so with my investment pool right now? So as things adjust, those people are eagerly watching the market already. They're eagerly looking for opportunities already. If I'm connecting with those people now, those people will be part of the first wave that creates some confidence again in the market, in my opinion. Also, if you're in GTA, I mean, we've had people miss out on how many houses, right? Losing out on offer after offer after offer. And some of those people will be ecstatic to have a chance to finally get a property. So it's just listening to the market. Like any market has opportunities if we listen, and the people who get the most creative usually are the ones who lead the way.
Is it possible to explain a little bit more about your training program? You said 4 days, right? 4 days training program?
Oh, we have multiple
webinar.
programs. Yeah, we have multiple programs. So we have coaching for full teams. So we coach again with 80% of our team clients are top 1% nationally in their brands. We've coached with, the Charltons, Mark Fair's team when he was developing his compensation, St. Jean Realty, Amy Flowers has coached with our system, Mike Heddle, Stacey Falcon, there's multiple across the country and into California and Boston mega teams who have built or who work with us. Our commitment is to coach and nurture the most efficient, productive, and profitable teams in the world in real estate. That's our commitment. So that's where our systems come from. So we have one-on-one coaching for individual agents and for teams. We're really excited that we've taken team mentality into individual coaching businesses, and they've doubled their business, tripled their business. So a lot of our MVPs are actually individual agents, which we didn't suspect. We have online coaching programs, and right now we have free masterminds during COVID every day at 1 o'clock, Monday to Friday. So that's available to everybody. What did I say? Group online coaching. We run Ultimate Team Summit in November, which is the biggest team-specific summit in real estate in North America, and we run Ultimate 100 Deal Plus Mastermind. So we have a lot of fun stuff that we do that we really enjoy.
Thank you. I want to ask Jerry if there's some of our audience have the question. Sure. Jerry?
I see he's there, but I can't see his video right now.
So far, no questions so far. So Pat, you can continue with your interview.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Pat.
Yeah.
Yes, Steph.
Kathleen, I know you don't have a crystal ball, I know, but there are two schools of thoughts here. Some people are, they said economy will collapse because of this ripple effect. And some people say, yeah, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. What's your view about these two schools of thoughts?
I don't have a crystal ball. I have people all the time saying, when do you think the market's going to open up? I'm not even focused on it. I have no control over it. I'm not focused on it. I'm focused on how to be productive now and how to shift, not pivot, but shift our teams in our network and our agents in our network into how to be productive right now. That's what I'm focused on. So what do I think is going to happen after? We can look at 2008, the Great Recession in the US. And I think the reality was that was an economic recession, as many people have said. And this is, a health crisis. And, I think both the US and Canada are pumping a huge amount of funds into the economy to try to keep it going and try to make it a place where some businesses, or hopefully the majority, maybe not, are going to be able to open their doors and bring their people back again. I think the US has had a great message of, some great messages, but a great message of working remote that I don't feel that Canada heard as clearly. I know our clients in the US and the entrepreneurs I'm connected with, right away the message was move your people remote and be as productive as possible. Whereas in Ontario with realtors, for sure, it was a very different message. Right? It's don't focus on business. Don't talk about business. You shut down. That was not the mentality of our clients in the US whatsoever. So I think our hope will be that, when the economy comes back up, that we still have a lot of demand in certain markets. But I think we can't predict what's going to happen. I mean, both governments are pouring a huge amount of money into the economy, and I'm sure they're going to be extremely proactive about doing whatever they can to try to boost it to get going as quickly as possible after this. I think we can all agree. I'm sure our neighbors to the south will be doing that very aggressively, right, on the economic platform. Trudeau, I don't know. But I think the reality is buyer's market, mixed market, recession market, seller's market, bull market, bear market, it doesn't matter. strong realtors are going to build their own economy in those markets. And what I mean by that is they're going to shift and bring value in those markets. Now, will that mean that a lot of people who are not doing as much business and might not be able to survive in those shifts? Yeah, it might. I mean, we have the biggest real estate board in North America. We have a phenomenal amount of agents. We have more agents competing per sale opportunity than they have in Manhattan. Like, they have more money there, but we have more agents for opportunities. And you know, the reality is, I think if you're a successful agent, it's not a horrible thing to maybe have some people who are just dabbling in it because it was easy to move away. But you know, we'll see what happens, right? Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't pretend to. Regardless what the market does, I'm going to try to help people to align and be strong and be successful.
I know you helped the Dan Plowman team to grow. What's your view about building a team and how to build a successful team?
Yeah, we've helped hundreds of teams grow from scratch. Like Dan, I really helped them to create their onboarding training. We doubled the average of number of deals for a new agent with my onboarding training there. I redid all their content in the coaching company. So those of you who don't know, I ran Dan Plowman Team Systems for about 5 years, where I had 100% decision-making power. And I sold my 50% of shares to Dan about 4.5 years ago. It'll be 5 years in December. So I think, you know, when it comes to building a team, it's like building a small business. And not all top producers or drivers necessarily love all aspects of building a small business. And I don't blame them. I don't love all aspects of building my business. But the key is figuring out what our genius is and how to leverage. You know, Dan brought in a lot of very smart people to build his team for him and to build his business and to train his people. And that is what a lot of great entrepreneurs do. They bring in people who specialize in how to expand. And that's what my whole business is built on, helping people to find the right people to come in and expand the businesses for them. Because a lot of the people selling and the drivers, they don't necessarily love the systems, the management, the tracking. Like, that's not their favorite. So they'd rather have people supporting that for them.
Thank you so much. Jerry, if you don't have any question, I would like to mention a few points about our YouTube channel. Is there any question, Jerry?
No questions so far. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, so so far we have, this is our 11th interview. We're gonna have one more interview. It's gonna be 12 interviews. This is kind of a COVID-19 series. So we're gonna be done soon with interviews, and we're gonna go through the actual work, what realtors should do. So those people, those realtors who missed previous webinars, they can go to FinPlus 365 YouTube. Jerry runs that. Or you can go to United Realty TV YouTube. They can watch all these webinars. Or you can go to my personal YouTube at Javdan, and they can subscribe, and the notification, they get the notification, and they can watch the previous webinar. Also, they can go on our marketing website, uroc365.com, uroc365.com, and they can watch those sessions that they miss. Other than that, if there is no question, I'm going to thank Kathleen. I really, really appreciate that you accepted our invitation, and we picked your brain, and hopefully in future we can pick your brain again and help realtors to be more successful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Pat. And I did put a link if anyone wants it for free download of my recent book. So it's just a gift. There's no catch. Anybody here can have it. And thank you so much for having me and connecting with all of you. I appreciate it.
Where is the link you said?
I put it in the chat. So it's top 1%, numerical and life.com. Yeah. Chat. And everybody can go and grab a copy. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Jerry, do you have final comments?
Welcome.
Yes, I would like to say, Kathleen, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And for everybody in the group, I will make sure that, everybody that has registered for the webinar series, we will make sure that we will email you the copy of the recordings. And these recordings are also on YouTube channel and also on United Realty, uroc365.com, and the United Realty websites also. And we will notify you via email with all of the updates. Other than that, I think, I wish everybody a very good evening. Thank you, Pat. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kathleen. And I really appreciate it. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.